All right, let's take a look at an example using our friends over at CrewTracks. CrewTracks makes a software that helps construction companies manage their teams and projects that may be out in the field. It simplifies paperwork, it helps them stay organized, and it helps them allocate resources to the different projects that might be happening concurrently. The CrewTracks Director of Marketing, Brett, has actually been through this lifecycle marketing exercise multiple times. So their customer experience is actually fairly intentional. But recently he combed over it with his lifecycle marketing lens and identified some additional opportunities where they could improve their customer experience. And I want to highlight two changes they've made in order to produce results for their business and to level up the experience they are providing for their customers. So previously, CrewTracks would use a handful of different advertising sources, trade shows, magazines, and online advertising, and generally be driving people toward a demo. From the demo, they were hoping that people would convert to become CrewTracks customers. But what they found was happening is that oftentimes on the demo, people had these pain points that they had to consider whether or not this software addressed them. So coming out of the demo, they needed more time to consider whether or not they were ready to purchase this software. So what CrewTracks did was they moved that conversation, the conversation about pain points, they moved it up to the beginning of the customer journey. They went up to the attract and target stages, and they actually talked about those pain points in their ads. They also talked about them at the point of opt-in as people are signing up for more information. So they started that conversation much earlier in the customer journey so that by the time people got to the demo stage, by the time they got there, they had already tied those dots together. They had already made the connection. All they needed was the technical specs that the demo offered in order to make a decision and to convert to becoming CrewTracks customers. So the second change that CrewTracks made was in the Create Fans section of Lifecycle Marketing. The first stage there is Deliver, and the second stage is Impress. And this is a crucial juncture for any new customer because it is your first impression with them once they have spent money with your brand. And of course, CrewTracks knows if people stick around, if they start seeing results from the software, then largely they're going to become raving fans. But if they never get started, that initial Deliver and Impress stage, if they never get going there, then they are likely to not see the value and to question whether or not this was a good purchase for their business. So previously, CrewTracks required that you work with one of their reps, with one of their account managers, to get your existing jobs imported. And sometimes this took too long. Sometimes it took a couple of days or a couple of weeks for them to get those projects turned around, and it prevented people from seeing value from the product that they had purchased in a quick and timely fashion. So when they were analyzing their customer journey, when they were analyzing the lifecycle marketing framework, they realized that those stages were taking too long, that they were preventing people from progressing and becoming the raving fans, which is what we're after. So what they did was they built a customer-facing tool that allowed customers to import their own jobs, and they built a self-paced training video to help them use that tool. Of course, they can still use a CrewTracks rep in order to get those jobs imported for them, but if people are really eager to get going or are self-starters or are technically inclined, they now have some resources available to them to start seeing value from the software more quickly, which ultimately is what the customer and what CrewTracks wants. So guys, the reason I like this example is because it shows that lifecycle marketing is a tool that your business can use over and over again. CrewTracks had already defined their customer journey, but it's not a set it and forget it type thing. So they use this framework to constantly evaluate and reevaluate different sections and find those areas where they can make incremental improvements to produce meaningful results for their customer experience and also for their bottom line. All right, guys, and as always, feel free to leave any questions or reactions in the comments section below this video.